Yes, yes, yes. Welcome back to Real Talk, Real Stories, Real Topics with your host, Julian Morales, and our special guest tonight, Marvin Reynolds, who is a volunteer here at Real Talk. And he helps us while we have the program up and running. But due to the COVID-19 crisis, we have taken over the airwaves on Facebook and on YouTube tonight. So we're here today discussing a topic, um, the kind of conversations that we're having with our kids during these times, not only through the pandemic and not going to school and all that, but through all the protesting that we're seeing, the rioting that we're seeing, um, and the way that the country is headed, right? So Marvin and I have not talked about this. This is our first time actually discussing this. It's unscripted. I wanted to get a real feel for a conversation on this topic, which is so real and so in our face right now.
Right.
And I'm gonna go ahead and let Marvin give us a little bit about himself and how many kids he has and the ages, and then we'll go from there. So Marvin, go ahead and tell us a little bit about that.
No doubt, no doubt. Well, Marvin Reynolds, of course, and I am very blessed. I have a beautiful, 5-year-old. I have a beautiful 3-year-old boy, 5-year-old daughter, 3-year-old girl. 3-year-old boy, and soon to be 10-month-old little girl.
Amen. Amen.
Yeah.
That's a blessing.
Sorry about that. I think about them all day, and I immediately forgot.
Yeah, no, it happens. It happens. So your kids are just growing up, and
Yeah.
and by the time they hit their teenage years and stuff, they're gonna be in a whole different world from what we're living in now. The world has changed a whole lot since we grew up in the 80s and 90s in it, right? Um, what would be some of the advice, or what, as your son and your daughter get older, and what are going to be some of those conversations that you sit down and have with them? Um, because I said something the other day, is we don't just guide our kids through life, right? We guide them
Right.
through society as well, because life events and life situations are a whole lot different from societal situations, right? From things that are happening in society. So as a parent, I find myself guiding my son not only through those life things, but through those society issues as well. So as your kids are growing up, what are some of those things that you want to press into them, that you want to pour into them as they grow up, Mark?
Oh man, that's a heavy question. The only reason why I say is because just like me, I definitely show my babies to take it a day at a time. And we do anything other than that, then it's really wrong as
Yes.
far as we concerned. Because even before this issue occurred in life, I mean, that's just been our family thing: patience, balance. Not and being that they're toddlers and technically infants still, it's it's more the action than more the words. So
Yes.
for me, being that I'm dad, I'm their father, I'm a little bit more different than how my wife handles things a little bit different than I do more, I guess, in a sense, gentle, super gentle with her approach. Me, I'm more like, hey, like, come on now. So it's more like you kind of have to find a balance on both ends. I mean, I can't just be just a stern, austere man about what's going on because it's pretty bad. It's real. But what it's worth, society is taking it serious. So it's
Yep.
not that society is taking it serious that I'm taking it serious. I'm taking this serious. I'm taking it serious because I take society serious.
Yes.
And what I'm showing them is, how to conduct themselves. I mean, I don't want to say that this won't pass, but I definitely will say that we must continue to endure.
Yes.
So we play, I look that way because I'm normally looking about the door. But anyway, we play, we read, we, listen to music, we conversate, I try to, you know, they're my children. Nobody never heard them, talk before, as they grow. Like I will get that opportunity, me and my
Yeah.
wife. So I just take it a day at a time. I mean, I don't try to assume what they're going to do or anything like that. I mean, we're all cramped up in the house for the most part. So I just let them be them, you know.
And right now with the coronavirus, do any of your kids go to school? Or are they doing online classes?
Well, we actually tried with my oldest daughter, and it wasn't quite successful. But our original process really is to homeschool.
Yes.
So homeschooling has been very successful so far. I mean, in fact, something has been a great blessing. I can't believe I'm actually sharing this with everybody, but my little girl is actually more apt teaching my son, the middle child.
Nice.
And that's pretty cool, because at first I thought maybe she had like kind of a slight little problem, but I was actually wrong. I'm grateful to be wrong about that,
Yeah,
and
man.
gratefully I was patient about that. So, because I mean, some people are more advanced at reading, at a super early age, and some people are not, and that's not a bad thing. It's just that you got to have enough patience
Yeah.
to not deal with that person, but to work with that person because you learning is the blessing all by itself.
Yep.
It's the blessing all by itself. But when the child learns it, when the child begins to, apply it, it's no different than the fisherman teaching the person how to fish.
Yep. Yeah, that's true. You know, I had my son, I had custody of my son when he was young and I still have him now, and I really dropped the ball when he was at a young age, and I didn't do those things that you're doing with your kids now, right? And it's not that I'm trying to catch up now because I'll never catch up or never make up for that, but I do the most and I teach him the most out of every situation. There's always a lesson to be learned, right?
Now
And
tell me this right here. Just I ain't gonna lie to you because I knew that this was gonna happen deep down inside. But how do you feel about what you're teaching him?
I'm proud about what I'm teaching him now as not only by my words, but like you said earlier, with my actions, with what he sees me doing, what
Right.
the hard work that he sees me putting into getting Real Talk started and staying dedicated in my studies in the Word
Right.
and him seeing me actually change and not just be a one hit wonder per se, right? But man, I just went on 2.5 years of coming to the Father and really changing, right? And actually producing some fruit, right? And to where now I see him producing fruit. And
In what
like,
way?
so he's last year in 8th grade, or not last year, the year before last, in 8th grade, I couldn't get him to come out of his room, sign up for any sports, go stay with a friend, go to the mall with a friend, nothing, right? And then after I changed and everything happened in my life, and then it stabilized. Then I saw him in his freshman year, he enrolled into ROTC on his own, and then this year now he's the captain, and his grades are good, and he follows my footsteps in my beliefs, and as he gets older and our conversations get.
Hold on 1 second. I'm sorry. Did he tell you that?
Tell me what?
That he following in your footsteps?
I hear it in our conversations, in the things, and I'm not saying like as far as being involved with 501Cs or following my footsteps in that sense, but in the sense of the word, as like my core beliefs and morals that I stand for are pressing into him, and he's starting to see and believe those same moral values and institute them into his life, and his life has changed
Hey,
because.
check this out. Check this out. You want to know what's so awesome about what you just shared with me? I have
Yeah,
yet to truly experience that.
and that's what I was saying at the beginning of this whole thing when I started was it's a beauty. It's a beauty that you already have this wisdom, right? That can only come from above, right? You
I
already,
pray.
yeah, you already there where it just happened to me when he was 13, right? And you have the ability as a father, as a husband, to have your kids from the beginning with this mentality that you have, right? As opposed to me starting when he was 15. So, look at what I'm talking about now in just 2 years that I've been pouring this into my son, right? As opposed to, man, Marvin, you have the blessing to do it since the first day they were born because you have this
I
love in
haven't
your
missed
heart.
not one beat.
That's what I'm saying, because you have this love in your heart already that I never had until 2 years ago. So, man, that's a beautiful thing. Is that, man? Keep at
All
it.
praise to his holy
Yeah.
name. I give
Amen.
glory to the Most High Yah for that. Because, I mean, I put it this way. Don't think for 1 second that I was this man that you know today.
And yeah, amen.
I'm going to tell you right now, I ain't about to just start bearing my soul and everything. But the bottom line is this: I am a recovering, whatever you want to be, a sinner, a bad person, however you want to call it. I mean, I have not been good all my life. As far as I'm concerned, I've squandered wisdom before.
Yes.
I've experienced the most. You know what the sad part about being a father for me today, for me,
What is that?
is that I recognize my shame still. But the hard part is that they still going to have experiences for themselves that I
Yes.
can't do nothing about.
Yes. But all you can do is
Have faith
have faith and
and pray
pray, and then
and do my
fill
job
and
as
fill
their
them
father.
fill them with what you know.
That's
Like
all I can do.
exactly. And there's a proverb that says, you know, at a young age, teach them and put them in his hands, and when they grow older, they'll never turn away from him, right? And
Well,
like you
there's
said,
some there.
no, there's some that do. They're hard to get hardened, right? But having that in them as they go through life, and knowing that at a young age, as they face those adversities, it's a big difference from somebody that has never had that spoken into them or never seen it, right? To where they end up in the world is they have nothing to, they're falling down the well and have no grip to get on. At least when you start your kids on the right path, they at least, as if they fall down the well, there's some branches sticking out that they can grasp as they're coming down. Because if we don't put that there for them, then they gonna straight fall down. And
Granted, true. And in that case, then we can't just, that's a good way to understand how you don't forget where you came from,
yeah,
as far as I see it. However, how can I put it? The man that I am today don't let me go backwards.
amen.
I don't choose to go backwards. I refuse to for anybody or anything, not even for my babies, for
Yeah,
nothing, not even society. I move forward. I
yeah,
focus on that so heavy. And the only reason why I do is because every day my children learn something different.
Yes.
Daddy, look, this, that. And guess what? I can't front. I'm amazed.
Yeah.
I'm shocked. I'm surprised. But I'm that way for one reason and one reason only. It's because I have faith that I can see them every day. I don't care how old my child is. I have faith that I can see them every day until he called me to rest.
Yep.
And I prayed I see them there.
Amen.
I pray I see them at rest with me.
And that's all. That's part of our job as fathers, right?
Well, that's a part of my job, and the only reason why I say that is because, just like you said at the very beginning, we don't know what each other thinking.
Yeah.
So you know what I'm saying, and you know me on a whole deeper level, man. You know I'm who I am, and I raised, you know what I'm saying, my family as such. But we're not oblivious to what's going on in the world. We're not at all. I mean, I'm far from oblivious to it, but I don't succumb to it, and I refuse to. By any measure, other than what I'm supposed to be as a man and as a servant.
Yeah.
And if I was to go anything past that, then I'll be a hypocrite to my children. And I know what it's like to be a hypocrite to anybody else. I'm a hypocrite to myself. If not today, I don't know what for or what could have been the cause, but I know I'm not perfect.
Yep.
But the pursuit of it, that's what I show my babies.
Yeah.
That's because that's all I can do. As far as them being perfect, that's totally up to them.
Yeah.
Because I know that they have not done any wrong. I personally know this. I witness this daily. So does my wife. So, I mean, I'm not oblivious to children being innocent. And I leave that be because I'm not an innocent man.
Yeah.
And I'll never be an innocent man in this existence. That's why striving for perfection is the best I can do.
Yeah.
And that's all I focus on. Anything anybody else is irrelevant. That's why I say at the beginning, my opinions to me is very relevant because I mean, living is important.
Yes.
And if it wasn't so, then there wouldn't be no such thing as real talk.
Yes.
There wouldn't be no such thing as anything that we do, you know, smell, touch, see, hear, feel daily, taste. I mean, something has to give you that understanding that there's something important about living. It may not be the right things to you, me, to anybody else. It may be the wrong things to you, or you know, vice versa. How it may be. But to be honest with you, doing the right thing is what I know I need to do.
Yes.
And what is required. And you yourself even said it, but mine is the Bible. My babies are too young; they're learning how to read.
Yeah.
So it ain't like I'm gonna like, hey, read this, hey, read that. No. I read it, I apply it, and that's how I show them.
Yeah.
So look at a Deuteronomy chapter 6. Look at it in Ezekiel 18. Peep them out. Whole difference. Whole big difference. And that's just why I stand at, like, I feel you on principles and beliefs and, you know, where you stand and things, your values, excuse me, not beliefs, but your values and, you know, things like that. That's real. Like, that's what, to me, man, that's where me and you share the most in common.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, and I say that, you know, humbly speaking, because you're a real solid dude to me.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
You know what I'm saying? So, and thank you. So, I mean, I apologize for talking too much.
No, that's what it's for. That's why I brought you on. Yeah, and you know, that's been the hardest part for me is understanding that my son's gonna go through his own trials outside of what trials he and I have gone through together, right?
Right.
And now that I am equipping him with the word and with better morals, before I would do stuff that in front of him that if I wanted to tell him it was wrong, I couldn't tell him not to do it because I was doing that kind of stuff in front of him, the lying, manipulating, all the stuff he would hear. I'm a single father, so he's with me all the time. He's in the truck with me. Any conversation I have, he's listening. He knows if I'm lying to somebody on the other end of the phone, and all of these things seemed okay because dad's doing it. Dad's doing it, right? So that means I could lie. I could this, I could that. So now that I'm not that way anymore, and like I said this last weekend when I had this conversation with the other show that I'm on, is the hardest part for me now, and this is where it's a blessing that you're there from day one with this same mentality, right? Is that I'm having to take the person that I just got rid of in me, that person that I got rid of,
Where
that person still remains in my son, because for 15 years of his life, that's who he wanted to be like, was the old me, because that's who I was. That's what I showed him. So now that I've changed, when I see myself correcting him in things, it's all the things that I taught him before when I wasn't right. So now I got to take the old me, the person I got rid of in me, I got to take the old me out of him still. And that's the hard part now, is that I'm trying to correct what I messed up, right? But on having that understanding and knowing that some of those things are just ingrained in him now, and it's my fault, and it's okay. I have to learn to deal with, because as your kids get older, Marvin, right now your kids are they're babies still. Let's be honest, they're 5 years old. That's still a baby, right? They're babies, yeah. So as they get older, though, you get feelings over your kids that you never thought you could have, right? Because when they're babies and they're innocent and they love you and they want to be under your arm and they want to tuck in with you, and then as they grow older, these feelings sometimes come over you that as a parent you're like, I'm really having this thought about my kid, wanting to talk to him like this, like, because they drive you to that much, right? But when he does now, I take a step back. I don't react anymore like I used to. Now I see him for the person that I made, for all the wrong that I put into him. And when he acts out, if it is because of those things that I taught him, I have a little more empathy towards the situation. But if it's something way out of pocket, I'm going to address it how it needs to be addressed. But if it's something that I see that's old me in him, right, then I address it differently, because I know that that's something that I need to slowly take out of him, right? And I can't do it overnight, but it has to be slowly. The same way I'm slowly teaching him by my actions and what he sees me doing to be a better person, right? Is I have to slowly take out the bad of me that I left in him. And that's the hard part. And man, Marvin, I wish I knew now what I knew when he was 3. I wish I knew now back then when he was 3 years old, what I know. And I would institute that back then, because man, life would be a whole lot easier for him, a whole lot better for him and myself and us together as father and son. Don't get me wrong, the strides that we've taken the last 2 years are amazing. I'm proud of my son. Before I changed in 2018, I never called him my son. I always addressed him as Juju. That's it. He was a burden to me. He was like an ankle monitor to me. He was something that I had because I was his dad, and I felt so short as a father, because I thought a father was to provide, educate, and feed, right? I'm like, that makes me a man. That makes me a father. But man, was I dropping the ball. And man, did I cause him more harm by thinking that that's what a father is to do only, right? Instead of knowing that I had to love him. And loving means correcting, guiding, being, having patience, and having discipline on him.
Yes.
See, I didn't know any of those things. So I just thought feeding him, clothing him, and taking him on trips and having a babysitter and a live-in nanny, that's enough. But I wasn't coming home saying I love you. I wasn't coming home hugging him. I wasn't coming home asking him how his day was. I wasn't coming home doing his homework with him. I wasn't sitting down on Saturdays playing his video games with him, something that piques his interest. I wasn't sitting there and reading books to him and having Bible studies with him like we do now. None of that. None of that. I thought working, providing, putting food, and taking him to school was enough, and taking him to his doctor's appointments. When in all reality, those aren't even the things that I need to be doing, right? Those are the things that just should be happening. Things that I need to be doing were laying a foundation for him, laying a solid foundation for him to stand on, and allowing him to see and hear and know truth, and for him to walk out into the world with a solid foundation. And now I have 3 years left. 3 years left, man, to leave him a solid foundation for him to put pillars on, because ultimately that's all I can do. Like you said, there's a limit. As parents, we want to do everything for our kids. We want to. Man, I get nervous. I'm thinking about him going to college.
I apologize, pardon for me interrupting, but I disagree with you on that last one. The reason why I say I disagree with you is because there's no way in me straight up, I know I'm going to be teaching them every day of their life.
Yeah.
Let alone my own. I'm not saying that out of pride or, anything like that. Not even humility. It's just a 100% fact. I still got to walk this walk, bro. I ain't going to change. I don't want to change. I don't have it in me to change for nobody.
Yeah.
Not even me. To be a servant, to be a vessel. No, man. I ain't about to give that up.
Yeah.
So, yeah, my babies, they've seen me be a man, unfortunately, be flesh. The parts I hate about myself. I mean, ain't like, it was anything blatant. It was just a matter of fact. But, big dog, you doing the very best you can.
Yeah.
Man, you doing an amazing job.
Thank you.
And this is just from what I have seen, what I do know. So, and so far, man, for you to just share, let me share this platform with you like this, man, shoot, man, you keep it up.
Well, thank you.
Don't stop. Keep moving.
Yeah, that's what this is about. If any of y'all, this is the first time listening, Real Talk is a 501c3 organization where we share our testimony with kids and parents in hopes of changing one child, one adult, one family. Man, if we could change somebody out in this world from if they're on the wrong path, we don't want to change somebody that's doing good now. But if we could change somebody that's on the wrong path through our stories, and our it's wisdom, it's knowledge, it's things that we've been through and we've learned our lessons from, and we're just eager to share those lessons with the public, with the kids, with the kids headed down the wrong path, so that they can make a change, a course in their life, and not end up like a lot of us did who ended up incarcerated. Now, Marvin, you've never been incarcerated?
No, sir. Never even had handcuffs on me.
Man, that's a blessing.
Praises to his holy name.
Yeah, yes. Amen. So that's why I wanted to have Marvin on here today too, you guys. Was it's a different look a different look on life when you've been incarcerated and when you haven't been incarcerated. Now there's a lot of similarities, right? And because we both do come from the streets, and that's what binds us together, right? But someone that's been incarcerated, most of the times I feel like they have a lot more hate and anger in their heart than people that haven't been, and people that haven't been have a different outlook on life. And
I totally agree.
Yeah,
I don't disagree.
Yeah, and I like that. You know, I used to be that guy that was mad at the system, mad at everybody, and typical. I don't want to say typical because then I'm just painting everybody with the brush, but you know, most of the guys
don't do that, man.
most of the guys that come home from prison, you know how it is. You chip on their shoulder because they did time, and you can't tell them nothing. They so hard. That was my mentality for a long time, and you know, it took, you know, obviously everything that happened with my eyes and being homeless and losing my career and everything to really just bring me back down and ground me to reality and what's important. You know, the last 2 days I've two I would say one was a good friend and one was an acquaintance. 2 people have passed yesterday, and yeah, and yeah, thank you. And it's been it's put things back. Not that they were ever out of perspective, because believe me, I do wake up every day, and I do give thanks, and I know that it's a blessing to be alive, to be free, to have air in my lungs, right?
Amen.
But it put things more into perspective, man. This guy, I've known this guy since elementary school. And I was talking to my friend today. I said, man, he passed away last night. I said, let me ask you something. So how many times have you said, I'll do that next year? Or next year we'll go do this. Or next week, I'll start doing that next week. I said, I've known this guy since elementary, and I can't believe that if I were to pass right now, today, that I would feel. I feel like there's a lot to do, man, and I haven't done a tenth of what I need to be doing. And it made me realize today, it brought me back down, and I've been preaching this for like a couple months already, is when I tell these kids the most precious thing on this earth besides a child is time. Money can't buy more of it. You can't steal more of it. You can't do anything. It runs out. And it's what we do with every tick that matters, right? And the value of our time is priceless. It's priceless. But we choose to waste something so priceless on things that mean nothing to us. And those things that mean everything to us get none of that priceless good. We'd rather sit in front of the TV. We'd rather sit on Facebook. We'd rather sit and watch the Lakers and the Miami Heat. We'd rather sit and watch the Cowboys play the Redskins and give them our precious, most valuable thing that we own. We don't even own it, that has been given to us, right? As a gift. It's been borrowed to us. This time is so precious. And we give it away so freely, like it's nothing, to things that are frivolous in our life.
I'm so guilty of it.
And those things that are so important in our life, those things that mean the most, that we should treasure the most, value the most, get none of that priceless thing.
Everything you just said, you just described me.
Amen. And myself, because everything that comes out of my mouth is from me first. And bro, huh?
Likewise.
Amen. And it's so true. And this morning I thought about that, man. And I said, time is so priceless and so valuable, because I've been teaching these kids that, man, you are the most valuable thing on this earth right now as a child. And you want to waste your life adding value to yourself, right? Meaning you want to go have the nicest car, the nicest shoes, the nicest phone, you want the best drugs, the nicest women, everything. You killing yourself trying to add value to something that no amount of value on this earth can ever buy more of. And we're wasting it away. We're wasting it away. We're wasting it away. And it put things into perspective this morning. And I'm making a change because of it. I'm really gonna make a change because of it.
You sure you want to keep that to yourself and just show us?
Yeah, well, that too, yeah. But I'm saying, man, it's really awoken that whole thing inside of me again of understanding the importance of life. Yeah, because, man, it can get away from us so quick. It does with the things that
I try my best to not let it. That's why I said living is important.
Yeah, man. It's tough, Marvin. It's tough to keep on trucking. It's tough to keep.
How's that for you? I'm sorry.
Not before I found the Lord, it was hard. This is how I used to see my life before I found God. I'm gonna tell you the way I used to wake up and think. Is today I gotta fill my mind with so many things that I forget about death. And that's how I used to live every day. Was I did things to escape the reality of my ultimate demise, which is death. Because if you think about it, we're all on death row. Just none of us know the day and time that we're gonna die. None of us know the execution minute. But we all sitting on death row.
I don't disagree. I totally agree.
So I said I used to live that life of I would wake up and I used to fear death so much that I would say I need to distract myself so much today that I don't think about what's at the end of whatever it is that I'm doing here on earth, because I didn't have no purpose. I was like a feather in the wind, right? And now I used to say it was easier to be bad than it is to be good. It's easier to be bad than it is to be good, right? And I still believe that. And that's why I say it's hard to keep trucking at times, because the easy route for me at times, I still struggle every day. I'm a man. I am made of flesh. I am not a God. I'm 100% flesh. And every day I wake up and it's easier to be bad than it is to be good. It's easier for when somebody says something for me to answer with hate. It's easier. It's easier to hate than it is to love. It's easier to be a dickhead than it is to be a nice person. It's easier to walk around and be an asshole than it is to walk around and say good morning and God bless you every day to everybody. It's easier to walk by the person on the floor that is asking for food or money than it is to stop, ask them what they want and go and get it. It's easier. Everything is easier when you're not doing the right thing, right? So that's where I say it's hard for me to keep trucking at times. Don't get me wrong. There's days where it's easy. It's like I'm on cloud 30. Like I'm just like, it's so good. It's so easy. And then it comes those days where I'm like, that doubt sets in, and all this talking I'm doing, all this story sharing that I'm doing, is it even worth? Is it even doing anything? Am I just filling my time once again to avoid thinking about my ultimate demise. But instead of it being drugs this time, I'm filling my time with good things to avoid the ultimate end, which is the same anyways. So there's times that I struggle with all of that. Don't get me wrong, I'm not perfect. And it's hard. It's hard. And it is easier to be bad than it is to be good for me. For me.
Understood.
And yeah, that's what I mean when I say that, Marvin, is man, it's not easy going and tell people I'm asking for money for this organization that I'm trying to help kids, and I'm a felon, and then people don't want to mess with me. People don't want to give us money because one, I'm a felon. They think I'm going to take their money and run and steal and all this. It's easier for me to run up in their business and take everything they got. That's the old me. That's easy to me. That's the easy walk for me. Is being in darkness and wanting and craving that rush and that easy money and that easy rush, right? And it's harder to go and beg people for money for some kids that I want to help, and to have people laugh at me or people close their door on me, and that's hard, and day in and day out. Or a lot of people don't understand this about me when I was blind and then I got my sight back, and I said the Lord gave me my sight back, and people are like, oh man, I wish the Lord would have done something like that for me. I wish that, and I tell people, you know how many friends I lost because of that? You know how many people laughed at me and stopped talking to me because of what I know to be true, because my God is powerful. You know how many people have lost contact with me? You know how many family members that stopped talking to me? It's not easy. It's not easy to do what's right, right? It's harder at times. And man, it's tough, Marv. But I keep pushing. And like I said, when I hear the stories from these kids, and when I run into one of these kids from the high school that at a store or something, and they're like, hey, mister, you that OG that came and talked? Like, man, because of you, I'm trying to get out the gang. And those moments, I'm like, man, this is way too easy. Like, this is too easy. I love it. But in the between times, like right now, I haven't been able to feed that. That sounds very selfish of me, but I haven't been able to feed that part of me of going out and reaching out to the kids. And for this last year, it's really taking its toll. You asked me at the beginning how I was doing and stuff, right? And it's taking its toll. It's taking its toll on me, Marvin. I went from 100 miles an hour to 0 to almost being stagnant again, and falling into those old patterns. But I recognize that. I'm pushing myself out, and I thank you for agreeing to come on today and have this show with me. That helps me. Man, I'll be honest, I just like to be heard. I think everybody does. And
no, I can't agree with you on that. I personally don't care for it.
Yeah, no, you shy. That's like, I don't know how my opinion. Hey, I respect it. I like it. I like going back and forth. I like hearing different point of views, and we don't need to agree on everything. We can still be really good friends, and we can still have little disagreements about the way we see life. That's okay, and that's really why I wanted to get this out, was just to show people, because I know we think things differently to a certain extent. I know from the little bit I know you, I believe I know that you're like a next level dude. You're a person that I categorize you as like a next level dude. Because like, okay, so I'm going back to prison talk.
Yeah, man, you got to explain that, because I mean, you don't have to, but
no, I'll explain it. When you get to prison, you categorize people, right? So you got your easy goings, which I like.
Right.
I can spark up any kind of conversation. This dude's gonna feed into the whatever BS we kicking. We gonna BS. You don't fall in that category because you don't BS. Then there's those dudes that like, I can have a serious conversation with this guy about anything, and it'll be cool. All right, you don't fall into that category either, though. You're like the what did I call you right now? Above and beyond. You're like the above and beyond dude, right?
Said
It's
next
like,
level, man.
it's like when I said I want you to come on and do opinion, and then what was the comment you said? What was the comment you said?
Oh, what about about my opinions and stuff like that? Oh,
So that's
they're
what
irrelevant to me.
yeah, that's what I'm saying though. So that's what I like about you though, is that you're gonna speak your mind. You're not just gonna fall into any kind of conversation I throw at you.
Yeah,
Like right now.
me.
You're like, I don't agree with that. And that's cool. Or like, my opinion really ain't nothing. I really don't. That's cool. I like that you feel that way. I like that you think that. But that's what I'm saying. You're above and beyond. You really call
All
things.
praises to his holy name.
Yeah. You call things for how they are, and you speak your mind. And that's one thing that I always preach is say what you mean. This world would be a better place if all of us said what we exactly meant. And then if we all meant what we said. Man, I wouldn't be a hypocrite. If I meant what I said, I wouldn't be a hypocrite. But I always say what I mean. You know what I'm
I ain't
saying?
gonna lie to you, man. I gotta find that balance. I need that balance.
It's hard.
I gotta do both.
Yeah, it's hard. We all got to do it. But Marvin, any final words? Words of wisdom, final words of encouragement. You got a minute to leave the people with something from your heart, from your mind, from wherever. Ready? Go.
Yeah. Serve Yah. Keep God's commandments. Walk in his ways. Do what's right according to him. And make doggone sure that you trust no man or no woman. You follow and trust him. That you make sure that he guides your path, leads your direction, and be your counsel and your voice. No matter what you think, feel, and believe, or what anybody think, feel, and believe. That's it.
That's it. Those are good words of wisdom. And as always, before we go, as I leave you with my 3 sayings, pray for your neighbor.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Pray for our country
Always.
tonight. Pray for our kids, for our law enforcement, for our politicians. Pray, and pray without ceasing. Please,
Yes.
for our country, for our neighbors, for your family. 2 is love your neighbor. Most importantly, love
them.
your enemies.
I love you. I love you, my brother.
I love you too. And as always, love your children. And when I say love, it doesn't mean give them a hug and kisses and go buy them an Xbox. Correct them, give them discipline, give them structure, set them up for life. Do not just teach your kids to educate themselves. Teach them life. That's our responsibility as parents. That's why we walked this earth longer than they have, so that we can teach them those things in life. So as always, love your kids. Give them a hug tonight. Tuck them in. Marvin, thank you for coming on.